Okay, we're here now on the Norton stand. I'm here with Matt from Norton Motorcycles. Matt, I recognise this. It's the Commando 961 Classic. Tell us what's particular about this one.
So this is a 961 Commando Classic. So this is effectively the one-off vehicle that we're making to fulfil old customer orders from the old Norton Motorcycles. So it's the same twin 961 engine that we're running with. There's some refinements on the vehicle that we're currently going through testing with engineering before we finish these bikes to release to customers. But right now we are sort of right at that closing point where we're about ready to finish production on these bikes.
Okay, so this is following the same format that we would recognise before, with the air-cooled twin engine, similar sort of specification, then mainly just to fulfil existing orders. What's the future for this bike, do you think?
So at the moment we're just trying to refine our strategy for our entire platform for vehicles moving forward. For the 961 we're just trying to define and finish our testing to decide, do we want to take this vehicle forward or not? Yep. Hopefully, positively we will be, but we've just got to finalise a couple of things in the background before we can say yes, we're happy to go into production and fulfil orders moving forward.
And is that proving a particular challenge in order to sort of make this bike have a future in a similar format to what it is now, or has the feedback been positive and you think there is a strong chance that we could see this again?
I think there's a strong future for this bike if we can get it to the right point. It's proving really successful and popular here at the show. A lot of people want to see an old classic Norton in amongst the new modern version of the bike with the V4 and the CAF Racer that we've launched this week.
So this is Steve from the engineering department at Norton, and Steve, we recognise the look of this engine. You know, our viewers are familiar with the original 750 and 850 Commandos, but tell us about this particular power unit.
Okay, so this is a bespoke engine to Norton, as you correctly say, the traditional parallel twin configuration. It's got a 180-degree crankshaft in it, so you'd imagine one piston goes up, the other one comes down. The camshaft for this is still in the actual crankcase itself, so you've still got push rods. A lot of the engines now on other models, later ones, they'll be using the camshaft actually in the head, but we've tried to retain that originality that our customers like, that traditional sort of layout and configuration. There are changes we've had to make, really, to make it reliable and suitable for use in today's sort of world. So we have got fuel injection on this now rather than carburetors, and we have got a small oil cooler on the front of the bike. We need that for a little extra performance, a little extra cooling efficiency. But most of the cooling is still done through the engine fins as an air-cooled engine.
Still air-cooled, and obviously the angle of the cylinders looks familiar, and the timing covers as well on the engine casings.
Yeah, we've worked really hard to try and keep the traditional look of it. It's, you know, that's where our heritage is, that's what we want to retain. So it's quite a challenge for us, because obviously you're trying to make a modern engine that's reliable, that has the performance people expect, but at the same time it retains that classic look that everybody wants.
And in terms of performance, what is the output of this particular engine?
Over 70 horsepower and I think 67 newton meters of torque. But to give you the figures doesn't really do it justice, because with like a lot of traditional sports bikes engines now, you'll get the headline figure. Yeah. With something like this, we've tried to make sure you've got torque and power right through the rev range, so it makes it a very nice bike to ride on the road. You can put it in top gear and just cruise along if you want, or you can sort of run through the gears, you know, if you're feeling like you want to, you know, ride it a bit sportier. So you've got the option there of doing both. It's a 5-speed gearbox as well, so you've got a range of, obviously, ratios you can sort of work through. So at the moment, we've only committed to building 28 of them. That's for the existing customers of the old Norton. We obviously want to make sure they get their bikes, and we make sure they're, you know, looked after. At the moment, we are working on a long-term product plan, so depending on what happens with that, we'll know more pretty soon, hopefully, about what we're going to do with the model and when we're going to release it, or if we're going to release it, and what the exact specification of those bikes are going to be.
Okay, you mentioned there the V4 CAF Racer, which I can see out the corner of my eye over there. Feedback has been immense on that, and can we have a talk through that one?
So what we've got here is you've got two different colour schemes for the V4 CAF Racer. It's running with the same V4 engine from the V4 SV, and it's got the same main frame, but we've made some tweaks on appearance to make it have that sort of modern tweak on a classic vehicle. Some people think it looks a little bit like a Dominator, but a bit more aggressive running with a V4. But right now you've got a carbon version and a Manx Silver, which has got this beautiful orange seat, which is probably love it or hate it type situation. But I think personally both these bikes look fantastic, and I think most people have been saying there's nothing else like this bike at the show.
It's certainly made an impact style-wise. And how far along this sort of development process are these particular bikes?
So what we're saying is these two bikes are in the prototype launch stage. So what we're doing is we're showing them at the show, getting some feedback from customers, and we're refining some testing on the bike. There's still some tweaks to do on the design. There's some tweaks to do once we get through the testing sequence. So, as I say, it's running with the same V4 engine, which we're just finalising the testing on now for the V4. Once we've done that, we'll go hard into the testing on the V4 CAF Racer. So hopefully soon we'll have some really positive news and it will be confirmed as a running bike moving forward.
Excellent. Look forward to that. And what sort of, generally then, specification, what sort of output are we expecting from these bikes?
So it's running with the V4 1200cc engine. I think top speed is around about 185, and I think it's 175 brake horsepower confirmed. It's the same specification for the V4 SV bike, but still a carbon fibre bike, whether it's painted or not, and we've got carbon wheels or cast wheels, but it's all running with Öhlins forks, Brembo brakes. It's there to be the sort of part of the superbike sport family from the racing heritage, but with a bit of a classic look.
Yeah, so the engine isn't softened or detuned compared to the traditional V4 that we've seen previously, but
No.
so it'll have lots of power, lots of energy to it, and this fantastic styling to accompany it. It looks a stunning thing.
Absolutely, and I think when you're looking at the bike from the front, you've got, from one side, you're looking at this sort of modern tweak on it. When you're looking at the bike from the front, you've got this really aggressive look. You've got this big, wide front grille, and to be fair, the bike looks absolutely fantastic, and the design team have done a great job so far.
Yeah, it looks great, and it's exciting times ahead for Norton, so thanks for that, Matt.
No worries, thank you very much.